Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a pretty surprising overview video. This is the Fantech Aria XD7. I actually had no idea what the specs were of this mouse, and now that I have it in hand, I can definitely say that the mouse is a absolute banger, and it's definitely a curveball in the mouse market and the options that you guys are going to have in the month of August between the Pulsar X2 with that 3395 sensor and that marvelous shape, and the Fantech Aria XD7 that I think is going to be a shape that is loved by a lot of people that are into those egg shapes or love the Orochi or love the G305. You have a mouse here that is 59 grams in the black version with the whole cover. This copy in white sits at around 63 grams with the holeless cover, and it actually does feel quite good. One thing on both the Pulsar as well as the Aria, the coatings could be a little bit better if they were more similar to something like a XM1R. I don't know what Endgame Gear does to their coating, but it is absolute black magic. But I think both of these mice are absolutely insane options for the month of August, quite possibly the best mice that I've tried this year. I want to give you guys the overview of the Aria since we've already looked at the X2, but I do want to compare both of these mice in this video to the rest of the shapes that I have on my desk and get you guys some better and closer angles of how these mice compare to something like the G Pro Superlight and something like the XM1R and a few others. Let's get into it. And let's talk about what comes in the box. You do have one cover that has holes and one top cover that is holeless. It gives you a savings of around 2 grams. You have a dongle extension cable, you have grips, and you do have an extra pair of skates that do actually feel like Tiger Arc V2s. And they did send me these. I don't know if these actually come in the box or not, but there is a set of Tiger ice skates from Esports Tiger. So these are going to be available, I'm assuming, on launch. So that is nice to see that there are already third-party skates that have compatibility for the Fantech Aria. All right, guys, most importantly, what is the Fantech Aria? What is under the hood? I want to let you guys know that the scroll wheel actually feels really good. It has a TTC gold encoder. So for me, doing wall jumps or things like tap strafing in Apex Legends actually feels very easy. One of the better encoders for those things, in my personal opinion. In Mouse 1 and Mouse 2, there are KL 8.0s. The implementation here is actually really good. Very easy to spam, and it feels very poppy. In terms of the middle mouse, it is very spammable. The side buttons actually are kind of in the shape of the Orochis, but a little bit larger to match the larger shell. This system here, again, is detachable, very easy to take off, and you can put the version that has holes for 2 grams less weight. In terms of the bottom of the mouse, again, I think the skates are Tiger Arc V2s, at least it feels that way. And the sensor, most importantly, is a 3395. At 63 grams in the holeless white copy, the mouse feels perfectly weight balanced. I don't feel any weight being thrown around in the mouse, and that is the most important thing. Even if the mouse was 70 grams, as long as it was weight balanced, I would have absolutely no issue with mating this mouse for competitive purposes. In terms of the overall responsiveness of the mouse, I actually think it is extremely responsive, much akin to the Pulsar X2 that I recently tested. In terms of the shape, just off the bat, it is obviously very similar to the appearance of the Orochi, but there are a lot of changes here. You can see that the mouse is a lot longer than the Orochi V2, and it does have a kind of a little bit more width and a little bit more height in the hump area of this top shell. It does extend, again, out a lot more, so it kind of feels in the hand like the 305 had a love child with the Orochi, and you get that egg feel that I think a lot of people were wanting on the Orochi, but because the Orochi was so short, you kind of missed that egg feel. I think you gained that on the Fantech Aria. You can see the side-by-side comparison. It is quite a lot longer, quite a lot bigger than the Orochi, and in my personal opinion, I would not go back to the Orochi V2 as much as I absolutely love it. But this is literally a older brother of the Orochi V2, shape-wise. In terms of how this mouse compares to something like the Pulsar X2 in size, hump, and hand feel, the X2, again, you get this awesome hump in the kind of as you're going up to the middle of the mouse, and then it kind of slopes downward, and you get these comfort grooves on Mouse 1 and Mouse 2. The Pulsar X2, as you guys saw in my overview video, I do think it is still going to be the contender for Mouse of the Year, but the Fantech is going to be a very steep competition because both of these mice now are rocking the 3395 sensor. Both of these mice feel phenomenal. In my chat on stream, people actually think that I am playing my best on the Fantech Aria. I am going to be doing more testing, and there are variables there. I did main the Orochi V2 for almost 8 months in ranked competitive play in Apex, so I'm very familiar with the shape, and I feel very good on it. I feel natural with it, and it rounds out quite a bit higher and quite a bit more comfortably on the Fantech Aria than the Pulsar X2. The X2, you kind of get that hump, at least the hump hits me right here, and then my hand kind of angles very steeply down towards those concave mouse 1 and mouse 2, which feel absolutely phenomenal. It is quite a unique wireless mouse, and I do think that it is going to be a lot of people's favorites this year. The Fantech Aria, again, you just have that nice, comfortable Orochi hand feel that you can just swap over to this mouse, and it just feels very comfortable if you are looking to palm or kind of have a more relaxed fingertip grip. You won't feel that hump in the middle or back middle of the mouse, and it just feels a bit natural as you are aiming with the mouse. Comparing the mice to the G Pro Superlight, the Superlight in the hand still feels the biggest amongst the three. It is the highest, I believe, and again feels probably the most neutral. You do feel a bit neutral on the Fantech Aria, but it feels a little bit more aggressive than the G Pro Superlight, less kind of vanilla feeling. The Pulsar X2 feels the most aggressive out of the three, with that hump feel being very noticeable in my hand, at least, when I am not solely fingertipping the mouse or claw gripping the mouse, and then that angling down of the mouse 1 and mouse 2 into those concave buttons. Comparing the XM1R to these mice, the XM1R's butt is very bulbous. So in the hand, the XM1R feels much bigger than both the Fantech Aria as well as the Pulsar X2. And because of that bulbous booty, the grip width actually feels a bit wider than something like the Pulsar X2 and the Fantech Aria. So if you are somebody who loves the XM1R, but you're looking for something that you have a little bit more inner hand maneuverability, I think the Pulsar X2 and the Fantech Aria are actually going to feel quite a bit better for you. I love all three of these mice, and I'm not going to tell you that you're going to play better on one or the other, because even though it is bulbous, when you start using it, you do notice things that you see in your gameplay, despite how your brain is telling the mouse feels in your hand. Sometimes you play better on one thing over the other without really realizing how, okay, you might be a little bit less comfortable, but how the shape and your grip kind of transition into your gameplay. So I do think right now, if the XM2W does release, you guys have a lot of extremely good options on the market right now for a high-performing mouse with a 3395 sensor or something comparable, and beautiful weight and beautiful weight balance. The Pulsar X2 and the Fantech Aria are both extremely good mice. I really did not think the Aria was going to feel this good, but it does. So there is some steep competition for what will be my main long-term. Right now, the Pulsar X2 feels extremely good. The Aria feels extremely good. And when the XM2 releases, we're going to have to do a lot of testing. Also, comparing the mouse to the Viper V2 Pro, the Viper V2 Pro without the a little bit more concaving with those rubber grips on the Viper Ultimate, it just doesn't work for me shape-wise, and my chat on stream can noticeably tell the difference when I am on the Viper compared to the Pulsar X2 and the Fantech Aria. So it's not placebo. Sometimes the shape really does matter, so it is going to come down to your preferences and really getting it in-game and seeing how you are kind of affected on the shape. Despite the Viper now having 4K hertz on stream, my chat actually thinks that I was pretty much just absolutely beaming on the Fantech Aria. Again, that could be because of the fact that I'm very used to playing and maining on the Orochi for as long as I have. But I do want to show you guys a little montage from the stream we had yesterday on the Fantech Aria. Let's check it out. I had absolutely no information about the Fantech Aria. I didn't know about the sensor. I didn't know about the weight. I didn't know how good it would actually feel in person. And damn, does this mouse actually feel amazing, especially coming from somebody who loved the Orochi and used to main the Orochi. So guys, I could definitely say that the month of August just got a whole lot more interesting. You have the release of the Pulsar X2 as well as the X2 Mini, which I have not tried yet, and the Fantech Aria, both with Kale 8.0s, both with TTC Gold encoders, both with phenomenal weight and weight balancing, and two very different shapes that both feel absolutely insane and perform like animals. If you guys pick one of these bad boys up, let me know which one you got. If you like it, if you don't, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace.